Alrighty, counting down. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And hopefully we are now live because, there's always that slight delay. Just checking my lighting real quick. I got a stack of, oh gosh. I got a stack of Blu-rays up here that are blocking my lamp. Okay, whatever. We're not going to resolve that right now. So yeah, first and foremost, good evening to everyone. Greetings, Amber M. Amber M. I still got to, I couldn't find you on Twitter. I tried doing @ Amber M, and all I got was Amber Muffins and a bunch of other names. But if you find me on Twitter, look me up as at DJ Ronnie G. I'll give you a link. And I guess DM me if you're able to. Because you said you needed like some assistance with something or to run something by me, technological or otherwise. So there we go. Hey, what's up, Pop? So yeah, today, unfortunately, we got the bad news about our friend, the legendary Tron, last week. And like he was trying, like all year. Remember, like leading up to his monetization, and he was working really hard. And I'm just pulling up his channel right now. Working really hard to get that monetization status. And he was putting on music streams and, putting on music, like basically like being a DJ. He was like literally being a DJ. And let's see if we can pull up the page. There we go. So this is a testament to Tron's determination and hard work. And why do I have that guy in the corner? Oh, yeah, I forgot. I didn't. Got to turn the camera back on. Yeah, so anytime I'm streaming off camera, I use that, pilot avatar in the corner. So we're just going to toggle it off real quick so that we can, I could be on camera and give this a personal touch. Yup. How do I do that? Ah, here we go. All right, I lost my camera. Who needs a camera? Oh, God. What the heck is that? So I'm like leaning in on my monitor and that comes up. Ah, here we go. Okay, I'm sorry about that. So yeah, this is some of the work, and you can see like these musical chill streams were like basically his effort to get monetized, and it worked. He streamed music. I tuned in at work. Others would tune in throughout their day, and excuse me, I hope that wasn't too loud. And all of that. I got your message, Pop. Oh, you did? Oh man, is it like that weird thing with the Twitter? Well, just do Ronald Maglio at gmail.com. I'm going to delete this message in 3 seconds. So, not that I really am paranoid, but I'm going to delete this message in 10 seconds, Amber. So, write that down. And assuming we are among friends in the chat, yeah, feel free to write that down too. Oh, crud. It's going to be part of the permanent chat log. Okay, whatever. I'm going to remove that now because you can just get it off the chroma key if you rewind. I think there's a setting in YouTube to make the video blurry if you show something on a scene that you don't want to distribute. But anyway, getting back on topic, this is more important. Well, everything's equally important, I guess. But yeah, you can just see like, and he did a lot of Fortnite clips and stuff like that. But anyway, how did I meet Tron? Let's start there. Let's go way back to the beginning. So it started on Echo Base Network. Right, you guys know Echo Base Network. A while back, I remember Stone Loki and Mexican Iron Man. They're friends with Coach and Nick, the people who run Echo Base Network. And a few years ago, they were like promoting them. They're like, "Hey, look, our friends are starting to do memberships. Come check out Echo Base Network." And I checked it out, and it was kind of nice. It's a friendly community. Coach is a straight-laced type of guy. Just a cool, nice, gentlemanly guy. And at the time, one of the things I really enjoyed, they were doing pop-ins where they would let people pop into the stream, like just like to talk about why you love Star Wars or something of that nature. And sometimes people would be commiserating about the state of affairs regarding Star Wars. What's up, Salty Traveling Sea? Good to see you, bud. And it's just cool because sometimes, excuse me, sometimes, like I remember one time there's this lady and she was like a little bit drunk, and I think she was drunk, and her husband's like kind of like, like, what the hell are you doing? And like it was just kind of funny. I found it hilarious, like when like someone's on streaming and someone else in the background is like, what are you doing? Or what have you. But anyway, that's besides the point. So first time I ever saw the legendary Tron was on one of these live streams on Echo Base Network. Heck, if I go back in time enough, I might even be able to find an example. And aside from being a cool dude who had his opinions on things and, was, not shy about sharing them. Oh, I think they have a separate channel for the live streams, maybe. That's why I don't see it here. But anyway, I remember seeing it like when Tron came on, anytime he had to step away from his desk, anytime he had to like, okay, roll away from his desk or, do anything. Maybe he had to get like his, get a drink or something like that, a refreshment. He would have these cool animations. So like when he was away, whether it was, stepping away for the bathroom or something else, it would have this cool animation of a wheelchair. It looked like almost like something from the movie Tron mixed with some animation in Discord, I guess. I don't know. I assumed it was Discord. I think he was just using OBS or Streamlabs OBS at the time. But I was just like, this is cool. Like, these are cool graphics. I don't know if he, commissioned to someone, if there's just something you could buy, like, maybe like a streaming starter pack. But either way, it was just like so cool to see these, like, these animations. They just kind of jumped out at me as one of the coolest things I've seen. And it was part of what kind of inspired me to do more stuff on this platform, just kind of like, like, because I was like, I want to have cool graphics like that, I want to, utilize technology in that manner, and it was also interesting because, like, he would use the assistive speech technology, the text to speech, and of course, I mean, like, you all know when he would, have that button when he would do the Friday night stream with Stone Loki and, whoever joined on the Friday night show. Anytime he wanted to speak, and this started on Echo Base Network. At least I first witnessed this on Echo Base Network. He would hit a button, and it would say something like, "Silence. Tron is trying to speak," in like this booming echo voice. And I'm like, that I think it was just so cool, and also kind of funny sometimes. I mean, like it could happen in the middle of someone talking, or if he was having a debate with someone. In theory, he could just be like, "Silence." Not that he ever would use it like that, but he could. But I just like the way he leveraged all of the technology at his disposal to do, cool stuff to inspire people with the possibilities. And he also had a pretty big heart too. But real quick, I do want to say hi to aliens, predators, and battletoads. That is a loaded and powerful name there, my friend. And it's good to see you. I was thinking about you today. I was wondering where you were at. I was going to start searching for you. I was going to be like, "Where's my boy? What name is he under now?" I mean, it's easy. I have a playlist with one of your videos in it so that I look at the subscriber account and I go, 8,000 subs. That's my boy. And yeah, so I see you right there, aliens, predators, and battletoads, which is actually a pretty bumping game. And I'm pleased to say that well, I misplaced my Game Boy Color. What is that thing called? I misplaced my Game Boy Micro. I found it. I may have misplaced it again, but I know it's not far. This time around, I know it's not far. We don't need to bring that on camera right now, but I do hope I have that. I do have a Game Boy 3, whatever this is called, for Real Weight Gaming Nation, by the way. Okay, well, anyway, this is not a show and tell anyway, but you all know how I love a show and tell stream, But anyway, about a year ago, I'd say, maybe less than a year ago, when Tron was, his living condition was changing, right? He had, some kind of injury, a pressure wound, and as a result, he had to, go to the hospital and then to rehab, and then from rehab into a new living situation, a place where he could live where, there would be nurses close at hand or somebody close at hand, a professional, who could assist with his, new living needs, basically. And he reached out to me, Tron. He was like, hey, buddy. Well, I don't know if he said, hey, buddy, but, he said, what's up and all of that. And he basically asked me if I could, help him record a vlog where he would basically send me a script. And then, I would read it out on camera and upload it. And so he actually honored me, I would say, by granting me the ability to upload to his channel as an editor, which, you gotta trust someone, or at least be, at least trust someone enough to know they're not gonna pull any shenanigans, right, in order to, grant that type of access. And so, I was very honored to do that. While, I did. I was, of course, the minute he was uploading, I was glad to see this, because I was like, okay, good, he's uploading his own stuff. I was hoping that, okay, he's in a better state. Hopefully, at least he's physically able to do that much. And what's interesting that jumped out at me was, obviously, he's got like the guy in the suit, and, speculation, my father, I showed it to my father, and he was like, oh, maybe, it's something that Tron did, because, it's like when you're in a wheelchair, when you're wheelchair bound, just like how we play video games as, muscular dudes in game, Gears of War. I'd imagine Tron, maybe enjoyed being able to appear on screen, or to have his words appear on screen, through the face of a, able-bodied person, I don't really know. I never really asked him, but I do remember when I was recording his vlogs for him, a lot of times he would have an addendum in it. He would say, hey, look, if you have any questions about my medical needs, or, my condition, my, unique medical condition, he said, feel free to ask, So that was kind of cool, because he gave people an opportunity to ask questions, for anybody who was curious. And I know I was, from first seeing Tron, before I personally had met him myself, I was very curious about, his lifestyle, and, just like how he gets by, and it was kind of cool seeing the experience, throughout the few years. I guess I known him for at least 3 years. It was interesting seeing, how he does things. So somewhere in here, he gave like I think it was on this one right here, his quick Tron vlog, or his moment of the day, where he would talk about basically like something that happened that day. I'm going to turn on my audio real quick. Just check some settings here. And he had an experience where he went to a doctor's appointment, and somebody asked him, they were like, hey, what's that thing you're wearing on your head? What is that headband? And, he told him about it, and then, he made a video about it. And I think they also subscribed to his YouTube channel, because he told him about his content. Heck, let's hear it from his voice box, if we can get the sound up. Okay, I don't know if I have sound here, so just give me one moment, guys. I apologize for any inconvenience here while I sort this out. I think he's aiming his mouse. Believe it or not, when he moves his head, this is one of the cool, like when you see that keyboard lighting up, he is aiming the mouse with the thing on the side of his head. It's some kind of sensor. And it's actually got a label. You see it says Glass House on it, I think it says. Or Glass. Yeah, it says Glass OUSE, I believe, So that's the thing that, if you know someone who has the need, this could be something that might, improve their quality of life. So just by being out there, I think, someone like Tron, I think his content will continue to show people. So if you ever, befriend someone and they're just like down into the dumps because, and I didn't hear any audio, by the way, guys. So I'm going to play with my audio in a second so I can actually hear what our boy Tron said just now. I'm sorry about that. I want to be able to hear what he said too. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's very low. I might have to translate. Let's see if the computer can't put this into subtitles, then the computer doesn't know what it's doing. But I think the computer can turn his voice into subtitles. I mean, if the computer could turn text into speech, I think a computer could turn text-to-speech voice back into text. But real quick, let me just catch up with the chat, and then we're going to let the tape roll. What's up, James? Caleb Reynolds. And thank you, Amber M. I try to do what I could. I thought about postponing this till next week and doing something more, more organized. But maybe in the future, if there's an, interest where anybody really wants to congregate, and maybe, talk about their memories of Tron, I would be more than happy to do that. But I didn't want to just come out of the starting gate, before he's, before he's in the ground. I didn't want to be like running around trying to hit people up to like hop on my show. I didn't want to, be all like, I mean, because, people could, take advantage. It's like I can like, call all of my favorite A-listers and be like, hey, buddy, you want to come on the show and talk about Tron? And it's like, it might sound altruistic, but, at the same time, you invite an A-lister on your channel, and it's like, in a way, it's like, are you riding their coattails, and in a way, I felt like that with Tron sometimes. It's like, he has 2,000, he has more than 2,000 subs. He reached 2,000 subs before clobbering times. He's at 2.15, so about 2,150, I guess, maybe a little more, approximately 2,150 subscribers. So, he achieved quite a bit, in his time as a content creator. So anyway, let's roll with this. And you can even see, like, he assembles the sentences up here. And this is something I wish I, had more time to ask him about. But, during the past year, wishing him a Merry Christmas, doing whatever, I could, sometimes I would like, one time I apologized, like, oh man, I haven't been in touch in a while. And he was really cool about it. He wasn't a dick about it at all. He was like, it's all good, man, and he, thanked me, and I thanked him for being cool, But yeah, this is cool right here. I mean, the way he assembles the sentences and with his head and then aims at the letters and makes these little lists where he can then highlight the things. And you can see how yes and no is up here, so that if he's in a chat, he could very easily, give a certain one-worded answers, I guess. So very fascinating. And when he slowed down in content creation, I was like thinking, like, is there a way to get his voice back? Because he was using other means to get his voice. I was kind of curious, like, to know, does he, I didn't want to, like, like be insensitive. I was like, do you like the British voice? Like, is that something that would be, of interest, to have back by any means possible? But like, I didn't want to bug him. Because one thing I remember is, like, I always tried my best to keep my texts short because I'm very good at being very long-winded in my messaging, and I think he usually preferred it, receiving messages on Discord, or was it on the text message? I forget which one. I think I actually preferred the text messaging at a certain point, because Discord, sometimes you're just not signed into it, but, he was in a bit of pain, during the past year, and at some points he seemed to be making progress, but, it can be slow going in his medical condition. I think he was literally about 40 years old. I remember I did attend one of his birthday, online birthday parties. Speaking of birthday parties, when you search for Tron's name in the YouTube search engine, you're going to get a friend of his. Where is she? This young lady right over here. She was one of his, I would say one of his best internet friends, possibly one of his best friends, but I haven't even watched her vlog yet. It's going to break my heart when I do, but I know, being his friend, that brought comfort. You got our boy Paul from formerly the Star Wars guys, now Fandomology. And this isn't even after. This is a couple of years old, but he also did a stream a few days ago, right over here. So you can tune into that. You can maybe, if you want to leave a comment, you got options here. You got oh yeah, also Tron did appear on Reality Based with Ryan Raja Afti at one point in time. That was an episode indeed. And I think we can easily find that because Ryan tags everything. And so it's easy to find. So let's see here. Here we are, Reality Based 72 with the legendary Tron. That's probably one of the more exhaustive streams that you're gonna get. That you're gonna get out there with Tron, like an hour and 40 minutes. Like, I'm amazed he sat down that long. Okay, that was not a pun. But no, I mean, it could be a pun now. I mean, I think it's good to have a little levity, but you know what I mean. He stayed in front of that screen for like an hour and 40 minutes, and I'd imagine, he needs to sometimes be moved over. He needs to be able to get out of that chair. He needs to be able to lay down in different positions, I'd imagine, to avoid, things that come with that, like bed sores or, But anyway, he was many of our friends, James. Yeah, he was friends with a number of cool people on the platform. Like, I only had the privilege of being friends with him for a shorter period of time, but I mean, about the same amount of time as many people, I guess. Some people knew him a couple of years longer than I, but I'd say he's a friend to all who, were willing to say, who were willing to be cool, who were willing to say what's up and chill out and leave a comment and revisit his channel. And thanks for the like, General Sorrow. I hope you're having a wonderful evening and good evening, Jet Sparks 373. We lost a man who is an inspiration to everyone. Tron will be missed, and Godspeed to him and his path to the heavens. Well said, Jet Sparks. And Amber, I wish I didn't have to do this, but I appreciate your sentiment. Hey, what's up, Pop Culture Mechanic? Good to see you, bud. So let's see, where were we? It's a little hot in here. I gotta say, I don't know if my computer is dumping a lot of heat into this room, but it's... Let me check the temperature. Yeah, that's weird. I gotta say, I gotta inspect my computer. I might have to run a malware scan because I've been getting lower FPS in BeamNG Drive, the driving game, which, if I lose my train of thought, I might just go and play that game in a moment. And not, I was thinking about, like, having, like, the heavy-hearted segment and then a light-hearted segment if we, run out of things to discuss, but there is a part in BeamNG, a light runner level, which looks a lot like something from the movie Tron. So yeah, might be an option. But anyway, let's listen here.
A little video log for you all. Just a moment in my life, while I was at my doctor's appointment, waiting to get in to change the catheter, I met a friendly woman with her mom and dog.
Okay, so we met a friendly woman with a mom and dog. I'm going to reread some key points here just to kind of like, in case the audio is too low, I'll read it back to you guys here and there. All right, Amber M, thank you very much, and you have a good night.
She let me pet him and was curious about my headband and keyboard. I have a text-to-speech app on my smartphone, so I used it to communicate. Luckily the environment was decently quiet. I told her that my headband is a Bluetooth mouse for people like myself. Then I told her that I am a content creator on YouTube. I gave her my channel, but I had been called in. Hopefully she finds her way to our community. Anyway, that's all for now. See you all later.
Okay, I don't know how long I was on mute, but I was on mute for a long time. If you didn't hear me, thank you, Amber M. Have a wonderful night. If I was on mute when I said hi to Pop Culture Mechanic, what's up, Pop Culture Mechanic? And how you doing, JR? Good to see you too. And General Sorrow, thanks for dropping a like. All right, so I don't know how long I was on mute, but basically he went to a doctor's appointment, and a young lady asked him, like they had a dog. They let him pet the dog, and then they were like, oh, what are you wearing? What is that? And he's like, oh, it's a Bluetooth mouse controller, basically. And, it was a quiet environment, so they could hear him fine. And, it's just a nice, positive interaction, Yeah, it's like, I don't know how it works exactly. I'm going to guess, James, that's a good question. I'm guessing, we could look it up. I'm guessing that it's like an accelerometer type of situation. Maybe like, when you put it on, maybe there's like a button or something that resets it or calibrates it, maybe recenters it. And then once you have the mouse centered, I imagine that it can sense the leaning, because I don't really see how there could be like an optical sensor on a screen, especially you might want to, in his situation, you might not be able to put the screen at the optimal position all the time, right? So I'd imagine that it could be, in fact, when you watch him in any of these videos where he's talking, to the camera, that is something that like the type of thing I would be looking for is like, what is the mouse doing, But let's see here. We'll try something out here. Well, I don't know why my OBS does that, but okay. So Bluetooth headband mouse. And let's see here. I'm gonna say like paraplegic maybe, because like I feel like that's a key word. I'm seeing a lot of people. Oh, here we are. They call it assistive technology, and of course, when I click on that link, Amazon brings me to the home page. Okay, so this might be a newer version. And that's one thing I always found. Like I understand like certain things like ergonomic peripherals, ergonomic mice cost more, and lately they've been coming down in price. But what I mean by that is, like I remember first time I saw one of these vertical mice. First time I saw one of these like 7 years ago, it was like $100 for like the ugliest looking mouse ever. Okay, and there's relation to this. And then at some point, I guess some people in the industry realized that these are cheap to make and that people are starting to need them more because, repetitive stress injury. But my point is that certain assistive technologies and even ergonomic stuff, sometimes they gouge you on the freaking price. I remember I had a customer at Best Buy and they were running Windows XP on a text-to-speech tablet for way longer than it was, normal to do that because it wasn't practical to replace it. It wasn't practical to buy a new one. It did what it needed to do, and it was just too damn expensive to like, do it all over again for no reason. And I did my best to give them like, good service without gouging them on the price either, because it's like I understand the daughter needed. There's actually a Muslim family at the time, which was and they were really cool, and they was like, yeah, this is what our daughter uses, and we work together to kind of get it into working condition so that she can continue to use it for school or personal use. But anyway, getting back on topic, yeah. So let's see if we got like reviews or questions. Okay, so let's see. Oh, this one's interesting. So this guy is unable to move. He can use his glasses on his laptop to surf and play his games to stay in touch with family. I recommend that those who have a loved one. Let's see here. My husband is a high-level quadriplegic with no use of his hands. This device is the only way he can use a tablet computer. We have been through many, many pairs of these glasses. Wow. Some on our dime and some purchased by the VA, as my husband is a veteran. When these glasses work, they work well. Unfortunately, they don't work well for long. Oh, that sucks. The side piece breaks out. I just want to know how the darn thing works. Yeah, so James, I don't know how the darn thing works. Let's see if we can try something else here. Hey, thanks, Psycho Dwarf 9. It's good to see you, bud. And I'm sure Tron would appreciate it, too. Oh my god, this guy. I'm sorry to be changing the topic, but this guy. Do you guys know who this guy is? He's insane. In a bad way. And, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Please, correct me if I'm wrong about this guy. But this guy was one of those people after the election who spent like a whole year, claiming that Trump secretly won the election and that he was just going to... Anyway, I don't want to bring politics into this. I probably, hit the wrong keywords and get the stream, shut, diminished, whatever they call it, suppressed. But, no, I'm sorry. I don't know why this guy's in my feed. I wish he wasn't. Should I just say don't show me the feed? I feel like that would be communist of me to, like, do that. So I'm not going to do that now. But, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to say not interested. Tell us why. Because that guy's a jerk-off. I don't like the video. It's the truth, all right? Getting back on topic, you know who else is on? Machini Drawers. I'll check him out afterwards if he's still on. Okay, getting back on topic here. So let's see. Headband mouse. I swear to God, if someone put a mouse on their head. Oh, Mickey Mouse. Bluetooth. Assistive technology. Oh, there we go. It literally said it on the side of Tron's thing, right? Glass House Pro. Here it is. Let's.
Glasses Pro assistive device.
That is Tron's voice. I'm not even kidding. That is the voice that Tron was using for a long time. The generic like British voice, that Draxofinal, the guy. There's a historian YouTube channel who he does the battleships and stuff like that. He does videos about battleships, right? And that guy was using this voice before he gained the confidence to be on camera, I guess. But yeah, that voice, I think it worked because like it became one of Tron's trademarks, in my opinion. At least to me, it did. But I find it kind of hilarious that the same voice is being used in his video, probably because maybe they provide software that, you know, lets people use that voice.
A customized assisted wireless head mouse enabling individuals with limited mobility, partial limb.
Okay, so that one's interesting. So this one here, you can see it's like if you have like even more limited mobility, like I think Tron had some use of his hands, or at least he could move his hands, and I think one of his hands was functional enough that he can operate his electric wheelchair. And so in his case, he probably didn't need the bite clicker, but some people do. Some people need the thing, you know, to be able to bite down on the mouse clicker.
And learning disabilities to operate their phones, computers, and tablets hands-free.
So it looks like it works on phones
and review the functions, features,
and tablets.
From its older cousin glasses.
It does have a remote control. You just saw the young lady using it.
And a user manual. It also features 40+ hours of battery.
I saw something like the fitness pad from the Wii, but it was a mouse. You stood on it, kind of like a surfboard. Yeah, so the Wii Fit had a lot of games that didn't, you know, require fitness, right? So like you could do the fitness and step aerobics, but they had snowboarding and stuff like that. And that's one of the Wii peripherals I'd still want to get my hands on at some point. Like I never got one. I almost took one home from the e-waste recycling heap, but I didn't want to, you know, bring home something with people's dirty feet on it. Plus, I had to bring it on my bike, and I think it was kind of heavy.
Going long after every charge. Glasses Pro can connect 3 devices and switch between them simultaneously. It can function as a wireless head mouse, a switch control accessory. Individuals with
a switch control accessory. Is that like a switch, like an on-off switch, or a Nintendo Switch control accessory? That is kind of interesting.
Head movement, or a joystick as an adaptive gaming accessory.
Well, that explains how Tron played games.
To pair glasses with the device you want to control, press the power button to switch on glasses. When you notice LED 1 light blinking, long press button B. And the same LED 1 will start blinking faster.
Also, thank you, Jet Sparks. I wanted to stop by and pay my respects in the chat with a previous comment, but off the bed now. Have a great stream. Thanks. Appreciate it, bud. And have a good night.
Search Glasses Pro in the Bluetooth setting of your device. You will notice the active connection of glasses changing and moving on to another device.
Oh shoot, that's interesting. Look at that. Like there's so many different ways that, see, like this is another way that someone could, like, you know, input. So this company is pretty thorough in providing multiple ways to accomplish the same thing. There we go. Yes. And so just a little known thing. I'm not an iOS person, but I can tell you on Android, you can enable a mouse pointer. In particular, there's 2 things you could do. You could go into, like, I think, developer settings or accessibility, and it'll show you like a little dot wherever you touch the screen. And that can be helpful, especially when you have a busted screen, because then you can see, like, when the screen is busted, you'll see like when one button looks like it's stuck or something like that. You know, you get like different options there, you know. So, when you plug a Bluetooth mouse in, I could use, this is actually paired with my phone. I can use it in an emergency, or when my computer crashes in it, I need to use a mouse on my phone. And when I'm at work, I use a Bluetooth mouse on my phone sometimes too. So I can put it under my work monitor, and I can alternate between my work screen and my, my phone without picking up my phone, so that it doesn't look like I'm jerking around on my phone all day. But my point is that, yeah, that spawns a mouse pointer. So this peripheral would probably do the same thing. Yeah, it is definitely Bluetooth protocol, and probably a 2.4. I think they have a 5 gigahertz Bluetooth now, but don't quote me on that. Do not quote me on that. I mean, I know they're up to like Bluetooth 5 point something. Basically, the newer versions of Bluetooth bring in functionality. Like, obviously, the original Bluetooth was like, you know, low quality audio, right? Phone calls. Then they added like stereo sound, and then eventually, like, it was more about like making stereo sound of higher quality using better audio codecs. Is it's using a wireless streaming codec between the Bluetooth, you know, transceiver and the device. And then eventually,
Glasses Pro offers 6 different G-Wear accessories to use with Glasses Pro. Each of them can be used in different...
but my point is, yeah, so with the smartwatches, that's like, they got a Bluetooth version that is specifically low power. And so, what, you know, this here, probably 2.4 gigahertz. I don't know what Bluetooth version, but, you know, typically newer devices are backwards compatible with the older ones. So if this is older, newer computers can still interact with it. What's up, Indiana Jones? How you doing, bud? Dr. Jones. I forgot his first name. I think it's Doctor.
Next one is G-Cap.
Yeah, there's probably a bunch of those Wii Aerobics boxes on eBay, James. Yeah, it's more about having the room to set it up, right? And it's like, I guess you could just put it on a shelf when you're not using it, but you know, or if you have an entertainment stand, you can put it on the TV. But I can see why a lot of people would get rid of them once they stopped using the Wii. But I do like the idea of snowboarding on one. Howdy, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Cheese. Joke from earlier, no offense intended. Okay, this is like starting to look a little kinky here.
One is G-strap small.
I'm sorry if that's inappropriate, but I feel like I need to go and sign up for a dating site with that lady. Okay, that's terrible. I don't. Anyway, jokes aside, I'm sorry. My humor is a little bit off key today, apparently.
And comfort.
Jokes aside, she's a good head model. Like, you know, like you need a good head model to be able to showcase technologies. That's very interesting, those giant buttons. It's like the NES Advantage.
Multi-mode function of wireless mouse, switch mode, or joystick A working with multiple switches lets the user perform many different functions at the same time.
Wow.
Glasses offers 9 different switches which are activated differently and users can choose the ones that work for them the best.
That's actually a pretty advanced device right there. That's cool. So you can choose to use the bite or the button thing, or maybe alternate depending on what is needed. It looks like she's moving her lips to like press on that thing. I'm not really sure if that's what's going on there, but some of these things are pretty clever in how they work. I thought the idea was good because I've got arthritis and get stiff locked up if I sit at a computer for many hours straight. Yeah.
Head mouse allows the user to control their devices by moving their head.
So what I do is
its advanced 9-axis gyroscope tracks user head to move the mouse cursor on the screen with precision.
That's interesting. But you guys get the idea. And I would say that I think this technology, I wish you know, I could ask Tron, like, do you like the product? Does it work? I think he liked it. He never really complained about it. But it'd be interesting to hear, you know, what, you know, thoughts, like what could be better about it, you know, what things, like, you know, I know certain devices, the deficiency is like the connectivity, you know, they lose their connection and they could be finicky sometimes. Like this Nintendo Switch controller, NES controller for this Switch, I use it on the PC, but I had trouble and I found out that you have to close Steam to use it, because Steam has its own input feature. And so you can use this in Steam, but if you want to use it in an emulator, you have to close Steam completely. But you know, like speaking of assistive technologies, right? We got like, this is an example of like an ergonomic trackball. You can see how like it's not entirely vertical, but you can see how the buttons, in fact, the buttons are quite vertical, and there's a reason for that, because normally when you use a mouse, your hand is flat like this, but it turns out that puts some strain on some of the tendons and all of that crap. it's much more natural for the hand to be doing this, you know? And so that's what this mouse does. It lets me have my hand in a near vertical position. I have a Logitech version of this. The Logitech one is not quite as steep. It's a little bit like less steep. But yeah, I would love to, you know, like get more technology that does this. My least favorite thing is, and this is another area where like, whether it comes to accessibility or ergonomics, where they really kind of gouge people, is like, where's the left-handed version of this? Now, I'm not blaming Kensington. I understand that they have mass production, you know, concerns and costs and stuff like that. But like, obviously, this is not a left-handed mouse by any measure. I mean, it would be extremely the opposite of ergonomic. Like if your hand being like this is good, and this is like, this has got to be the worst way to operate anything. Plus, how do you move the ball? You know. But on the other hand, if they were to build a left-handed version of this, I bet you it would cost a fortune, and probably understandably so, because they wouldn't sell as many. And so, Logitech's answer to that riddle was this right here. Looks like a fish, doesn't it? And it is an ambidextrous mouse, right? You see, like, it's not terrible. This one has a bit of a gritty feel. Even when I clean it, I feel like it's a bit gritty. Like I wish I could replace the silicone with not silicone. What is that? Teflon with something else. Some people, you know, put ruby in there, but it basically does the trick. I have like 2 or 3 of these that I buy for any of my retro computers, or anytime I need like a mouse for another machine. And it's got the wing buttons on the side, and you can see how it's clearly ambidextrous. But it's like, so basically you can either get an ambidextrous mouse or a right-handed mouse, but there's no like dedicated left-handed mouse. And yeah, I feel a little bit like about that. I feel like maybe I don't know the statistics. I'm guessing the statistics are just that unfavorable. You know, and I'm not about to say the government should subsidize it, because they'll find a way to ruin that. But sometimes I think if the government wants to do something altruistic, or people in the government want to do something altruistic, there is an opportunity in that realm, you know, where it's like, okay, well, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, but if we care about helping those with special needs, then maybe we should subsidize the cost of what it would be to produce like 100,000 left-handed versions of this. Or, you know, if Logitech says it's going to cost us $500,000 to retool an assembly line to build these. This is Kensington, by the way. Maybe the government should say, okay, we'll give you $1 million if you build an assembly line and a limited production run, or something. You know, maybe like build this many every year, or, you know, based on the needs of the customer. You know, something. You know, what's that? Dave Chappelle says, modern problems require modern solutions. I'm not even on camera. I mean, not that I care about being on camera, but, you know, I want to give you guys eye contact. I'm looking at the camera. I'm not even on camera. I mean, I guess I can look at you here. Okay, jokes aside, let's catch up on the chat here. My goodness. You see me pressing the button on my Stream Deck. All right. I thought it was a good idea because I've got... Oh, sorry. I read that already. My friend dated a Japanese lady who worked with prosthesis. Oh, who's prosthesis? Is he a nice person? It would not surprise me if the Japanese are leaders in that field. Yes, probably, they got a lot of old people. They got a lot of people who need to work a lot, right? And so, you know, long working hours. I imagine the Japanese would probably be on top of that, because, you know, you're not going to let someone not go to work just because they're disabled. You know, you got to pull your weight in Japan. Now, jokes aside, I don't know how that works, but I do know in Japan they do kind of work hard. Right, we know about the, what's the term? They sometimes call it the 9x6. It's like 9 to 9, 996, I think it's called. Like where you work 9 to 9, 6 days a week, or some crazy crap like that. And in Japan, they have a word for working to death. Karoshi, I think it is. And it's why it gave way to the hikikomori phenomenon, or hikikomori. Look it up sometime. Hikikomori and hikikomori. Okay, anyway, I thought the idea was good. Wait, I read that 3 times. I'm sorry. I've got an Xbox 360 controller with a chat pad. That's cool. Which is a miniature QWERTY keyboard for an early attempt. It's not a bad piece of kit. That was pretty cool. It was like, yeah, in theory, you could exchange chat messages. I guess if you're not using the microphone, or if you need to type in a login. I mean, just typing in a login, having a keyboard at the bottom of the gamepad, I think it's a lot like having a BlackBerry kind of. Blackberries, that is true, actually. That's what I literally learned that term today, James. It is a Japanese thing. I mean, Chinese thing, but I am applying it to the Japanese because, what's the difference between an hour? Plus, they might have like 10 by 6 or 10 by 5 or, 9 to 10 by 5. I remember like hearing a commentary about Japanese workers, and it was something along the lines of like, to get a promotion, you got to kiss your boss's butt. So you go to the karaoke bar. So you're working your ass off all day, and then instead of going home, you go to the karaoke bar and you pretend to like your boss. And you drink with them, and then, maybe they get a happy ending massage, and then you go back home to sleep for like 3 hours, and then you go back to work to do it again, and a lot of young boys saw their dads dying, working their asses off and then not reaping the benefits, or, just, being wage slaves, and apparently some of them decided they weren't going to do it, whether that's, right or wrong, or whether that's damaging them socially. That's a part of the topic too, I guess. But I don't know how we got to the topic of hikikomori. Oh yeah, Japanese 996 China. Yeah, that's how. Today I saw someone comment. Actually, I don't want to talk about that much about China. Someone said something about, they said the name of a country, but they called China that country's name, but they called it Western country name. I'm not going to say the country's name right now because, I don't want to really suppress this stream here by, getting into that particular realm of politics, geopolitics. Excuse me. Got a case of the yawns here, guys and ladies. So let's see, what else do we have here? So it crossed my mind to do like a little art stream, because like, I don't really know how to draw well on a drawing tablet, but I know how to trace. And when you draw, like say I want to draw a picture of Tron, it's an iterative work. So you start with a rough tracing, and then you can keep refining the color over and over again, right? You can perfect it in subsequent passes without ruining the original, thing. If you are a salaryman, you are pretty much owned by Sony or whatever. Not a good thing in my opinion. Well, like back in the day, being a salaryman at least like meant you'd get a pension, or, they would be loyal to you, right? Problem is when like you're expected to be that salaryman, but the company has no loyalty to you and they're not doing anything for you. And I've seen like examples of Japanese people working very hard. So it's like, it's not like the unionized civil servant who, is always bitching about something. It's like they have it really good. They don't work terribly hard. And then when they're given a little more work or a little more responsibility, they become, really, really obstinate about it, or, whatever. And maybe to some extent there's logic to that, because if the people around you aren't working hard, it's not fair to like, be expected to work harder than them. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, well, it just, yeah, it doesn't make sense, But from a managerial standpoint, they might say, oh, give it to the guy. Give the work to the guy who enjoys the work, because if I give it to this other person, they're going to file a freaking complaint. But, even in America, same thing. I remember there was a supermarket not far from here where they like reorganized. They closed down and reopened under a different name, or was sold the store to a different company. And there were a number of people working there who were just like almost at pension age, And, on one angle, you could argue that like if they couldn't provide pensions, they should not have made that commitment in the first place, But they sought to get out of that commitment, and that's how they did it, the company, one of the ways they did it. And a friend of mine was recently talking about modern companies. And, with Boeing, for example, excuse me, guys, it's a lot of emphasis on short-term gains, as opposed to short-term profits and short-term gains, and, throwing everything else by the wayside. And maybe if the CEO could be held criminally liable, they would think twice about, making a blanket proclamation telling the entire company, cut 30% every department, regardless of whether it makes sense or not. Because that's basically one of the things that affected Boeing, right? And there's other companies that do the same thing. And when, profit margins in a supermarket get razor thin, I can see where maybe some of these types of decisions were made. But, yes, if you're starting a new supermarket business, maybe you're not doing pensions anymore. But at the time, this was the 90s or late 90s. And at the time, they were still doing pensions. And people got shafted over it, I'm not up on Japanese culture, James says, but American corporate culture seems toxic now. Yeah, I mean, in a way, they're I would say they're comparably toxic. I'd say Japanese culture can be more toxic, corporate culture. But on the other hand, Japan produces actual goods, right? Over here we got a lot. We still have some industry, right? But we have a lot of paper pushers and, bullshit jobs and jobs where people get paid more and are doing less than the people getting paid less and things of that nature, And of course, I watch these funny videos where there's a stick figure lady, and basically it's those crazy bosses who are oh, you gotta come in for the meeting a half hour early. It's in your employee rules. And the employee's nah, I'm not getting paid for the meeting. F you. And it's that they're correct. And the beauty of it is, even if the manager says, oh, well, you need to be a team player, it's okay, cool. Tell me to be a team player. I'll go tell the labor board that you're breaking the law, or whatever, whoever's in charge of that. I'm sure the worst jobs and best jobs make the press. Everyone in the middle probably suffers in silence. Yeah, everyone wants to move to Japan and become a manga artist, right? But let's be real here, not everyone's going to get the manga artist job they want. Those who do are going to find out it's a bit of a rude awakening, especially with animation. Because with animation, you got keyframes. So this, if I do this and I move my hand here, what you would do is you'd have a keyframe here and a keyframe here. And then some other poor bastard called a tweener, which means drawing the in-between frames. They have to draw everything in between the keyframes. So they have to draw basically this, all of that. That's way more tedious. It's also more expensive and time consuming back in the day. That's why I don't really have an issue of CGI anime, computer generated imagery in anime. Where I have an issue is when it clashes, when you can see that there's a regular animated element, hand drawn, coexisting with a computer generated element. Those, I don't know, they just kind of are distracting to look at, But if the animation style is consistent, like Knights of Sidonia, I think is a great example. A lot of people don't like the animation style in Knights of Sidonia. A woke friend of mine said it was gay, which I think is a bit hypocritical. It's why are you going to tell me that show is gay? But the same person would give me a hard time if I told him that some other crap was. And plus, why should it be an insult on, the homosexual community? If you don't like a show, why drag them down with it, But I digress. I mean, jokes aside, I think the word should be reserved for when something's actually gay, for better or for worse. But anyway, I digress. We're going down random rabbit holes here. Can someone help me out in the chat here? Get me back on topic. Jokes aside, yeah. Yes, BS jobs, many people noticed that. Yeah, and I think when you're working in the trenches, when you're working the low-paying, low-level job, you see it, or at least it seems to be way, more noticeable to you, It's when you envy someone else's job for being easier, it's how do you not see it, And when you hear other people either laughing or bragging or talking about their superiors at work who have a better degree but do less work, and social work is a great example. So I'm sure there's many social workers with a master's degree who are overworked, but it seemed that in some cases the ones with the higher degree did less work. Now, I don't know, I don't know, I'm not an expert. This is only in New York. I don't know social workers around the, country. But stuff like that, it kind of gets people pissed off, and it's like, then you got the anti-work people, and they're saying stuff like, what is it? They're saying stuff like, "Hey, what's up, Phantom Hooligans? Good to see you, buddy." I give out wrenches like they're water. Although I think I've taken a break from giving out wrenches, right? I haven't really done any recently, but I like cash. And also, in case, James and Pop Coach Mechanic take a day off from visiting, there we go. We're gonna hook it up. There we go. I don't mind doling out a lot of wrenches, although I'm not one of those channels who gives everyone a wrench, but I think generally I give a wrench to people who give me a wrench. I don't expect to get a wrench from someone who I give a wrench to, by the way, so no obligation there. But there's a few channels where like they give you a wrench when they first meet you because they're like, "Oh, you seem like a nice guy," and then you realize everyone gets a wrench. But that's different. I think they do that so that everyone has an equal say. Some people do that for political discourse. Some people do that so that people could share their links with one another. There's different reasons why people do that. But yeah, where was it? Where were we talking about now? So I got sidetracked very easily. But yeah, no, I mean, like my current job I enjoy. There are times where it's a little fickle, where they might change the policy, they might change schedules. Like I hope they don't, but you never know. I'm working on a Linux training right now. It's kind of interesting, and one of my coworkers, he's like, he realized how hard the test would be, and he's like, "Oh, it's because they want us to fail the test so that they can make more money." And I'm like, "Well, I think it's just a hard test because they don't want people going around saying the Linux training is easy. If you put that on your resume, they want it to mean something. And if they make it too easy, then it's going to be pointless for any organization or person to spend $2,000 on that type of training." It pretty much requires a master's degree in social work to be a psychologist. Degree inflation, I can confirm it, I believe is what you're saying. Requiring a degree when a job, when job experience would be fine. Yeah. That's well. So one thing I learned many years ago when talking to a friend while I was like, on the hunt for like a better job, was like, yeah, man, they all want degrees of varying levels, and it's like, it just seems like certain rules are like insurmountable. And then he's like, "Tell me not, dude, you got to look at that as a wish list. So don't not apply for a job because you don't have all of the things listed there. Because the reality is that many of the people applying don't have all of those requirements, or they have the degree, but they don't have the coding experience, or they have coding experience, but not a degree, or, any number of combination of things. So, if they want to interview you, if you fill it out and they interview you and they like the other stuff, or you can pass the coding challenge, if they do one of those, real-time whiteboard challenges where they have you walk through a, solution or a problem, yeah, go for it, treat it like a wish list. But yeah, I wish I had more to add there, but, once again, I want to say it was, but before we proceed, let me just see here. If more people would learn about hard work, then they would stop acting like entitled idiots. Yeah. And even Tron, he knew hard work, and trust me, it took like hard work to like do what he did on this platform, like it's sort of like the opposite of a force multiplier. You give a machine gun to a soldier, he's as good as 10 men. You give someone, cerebral palsy of the nth degree, and it's like turning that machine gun back into a pea shooter, or maybe like one of those regular rifles, But my point is that he got a lot done, and that's one of the things that was interesting. A lot of people were saying during the week was like, he kept it positive. He tried to be positive as much as possible. He, didn't really complain about stuff, and he wasn't a dick. And that goes a long way in the modern era, because a lot of people are dicks today, and he was a good dude and a good friend. And that's what I wanted to say before. I remember one time like someone was going to do a stream. It involved like kids with disabilities or kids with some issue, and they were trying to raise money, and Tron jumped in there. He's like, "Yo, let me know when that stream is. I want to do it for the kids, you know." So I'd say, he had the noblest of intentions when he was able to, step in to do something, to help the little man. In fact, that is a saying that's, I think, Tron's saying. Like, literally, it's on his channel. It says it in the description of that video we watched earlier. And so my Stone Loki, mentions it. Tron fights for the user. And yeah, it's like, I don't know if there's a better way of putting it, what he is, what he was about, what he did for anyone who, graced his presence or, visited his channel or interacted with him. He fights for the user. He fought for the user. He was like the Tron from the movie in that regard. And let's see. Oh, yeah. So, same thing. Like, a woman's dating requirements, more like a wish list than a must have. Well, depending on the girl you're talking to, she might beg to differ, man. For certain women, that's not a wish list. Those are demands. In fact, many online dating profiles are a list of demands. But I do get what you're saying, though. Jokes aside, I don't mean to be shooting horse for your analogy. It is a reasonable, simple analogy, no doubt about it. And it's true. Like, an employer is like a girlfriend or a prospective girlfriend, a prospective date. An interview is like a date, right? And basically, on a first date or first interview, you got to trick the employer or you got to trick the girl into thinking that you're the best candidate. You got to put on your A game, right? You got to be the model employee. And then once you're hired, spend a few months, maybe weeks, and then you can revert back to being your lazy old self. In fact, it's a lot like marriage in that regard, right? People get married. Wife is not fat. Wife has baby. Wife becomes fat. Okay, that's terrible. I'm sorry, I don't mean that. But it is a stereotype that cracks me up. Because I remember my friend's late mother was arguing with her daughter, and it was like, basically, she's like, "Oh, why don't you love daddy?" And it's like, she went on his rant, like, because he spent 20 years calling me fat. That's why I don't give a shit. She was like basically telling the daughter why she didn't really give a shit that the husband was dead at this point. It's like, I mean, she mourned him, but after a certain point, it's like, I'm done with this, like, I don't have any obligation to, worship the guy in that example. But that's a random one, very random shift of topic there. Goodness gracious. For Rossman got some people with assistive technology to talk with him. Oh, interesting. Takes a Arkansas. Good to see you. I wish more people would actually fight for the user. Absolutely, man. It's like crazy that it takes someone like Tron to be the one to fight for the user. Like, it's like that's how scarce it is that he has to step in. He had to step in to be there looking out for people and do what he could. And it is good to see Arkansas. Arkansas is also a friend of Tron. I befriended Arkansas through Tron's channel. I believe I met Arkansas either during Tron's birthday celebration or maybe during another type of stream. But Arkansas knows how to have a good time and is a very sweet lady too. And it's good to see you, Arkansas. And Arkansas has a clever name. I mean, come on, Arkansas. It's like Arkansas, but with sauce. That's clever. That's more clever than my other channel name. You guys know I have a different channel. Do you know what my other channel name is? I bet James knows. It does rhyme with DJ Ronnie G. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see if I can sign into it. All right. I don't know if I can sign into it right now because it's a different email address. I don't remember it. But it's ZJ Ronnie G because I think it's the movie Super Troopers or one of those other comedy movies where someone goes, "What's a ZJ?" And the guy goes, "If you have to ask, you can't afford it." What do you mean what happened? Oh, shit. You do know that, our friend Tron passed away last week, Arkansas. Like, literally, like, I learned about it. I went over this in the beginning of the stream, but yeah, I learned about it, like, 4 days ago. I think, like, random evening. I was, who the hell was I watching? I was watching a friend's channel. Well, it's like, it was last week. I think Ryan Roger Afty mentioned Tron. It was just like, mentioned, in passing kind of. And yeah, like, double checked it, sent a message to 1 or 2 people. Yeah, unfortunately, he did pass away, this past week, Arkansas. So that's why I'm literally doing a yeah, that's why I'm doing a stream right now because I wanted to kind of talk about the times, how I met him. And I'm sorry that I have to be the one. I apologize. I'm sorry I have to deliver the bad news, but yeah, but I know Tron loved you. Like I know he liked you. I know he respected you. I know when he streamed with you, he had a good time, and I want you to know that you contributed to Tron's, I think, to Tron's quality of life and quality of, yeah. And I spoke to him like a few weeks ago too. Like it's fucking crazy, right? Maybe I just spoke to him a whole month ago actually. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I don't know the details, right? We know what he was doing for like the past year, what he'd been going through ups and downs. He's been working his way up, and apparently like it's like sort of like warranties and expirations and shit like that. But yeah, no, he was a gentleman, and you were one of the more fun people. I could just tell, like, what few times we interacted together while with Tron, and plus you're just you got a good sense of humor, Arkansas. So I'm glad that Tron knew you. I'm glad that you continue to talk to Tron too. Probably spoke to him more than I do. So that's cool. I respect that. Yeah, I know it's fucking whack, isn't it? Mad whack. 'Cause I mean, I kind of I knew that, like, there's always that possibility when, because you don't see a lot of 90-year-old people, like, with severe, medical conditions. Sure, you'll see people with, like, light medical conditions. Look at Michael J. Fox. Like, he's still kicking it pretty damn well, all things considered. But, like, when it's severe, it's like, that does have a toll in the long term, especially, like, if it's, like, like, I don't know, I mean, like, I'm thinking, like, Stephen Hawking, like, I remember he was, like, I think he felt, Stephen Hawking's story is kind of wild there, although that's a different topic about Stephen Hawking, to go down a lighthearted thing for a moment, right? How many people think Stephen Hawking was faking it? I mean, not the medical condition, the brains, I mean, I don't think he was faking it. I think that being wheelchair bound and being a mathematician, he probably did have a great capacity to run these types of numbers, But on the other hand, like, I love the conspiracy theory about Helen Keller, and I don't mean to be shifting topic, but I figure we get a little lighthearted again for a moment. I remember there's people who believe that Helen Keller was faking it, and there's some videos about it. There's like a comedy movie where guys talking about it. There's like people I know in real life who are like dead ass. They're like, yeah, she was faking it. They give you their reason why they think she was faking it. I don't really buy it all, but some of the arguments were kind of compelling. But like, unless I'm fact checking it myself, it's like, I don't know what to believe. You know what I mean? Like, but I've heard things about Helen Keller from, like, she was actually, either that, I forgot, was it that she had the condition too early to learn language or too late? One of those things happened. Either it was too early or too late to learn language for her. But what jumped out at me that was funny about the Helen Keller thing, I remember one guy was saying, like, I remember one time I saw in a cult video where they made it like Helen Keller was like a devil worshiper or some shit. And maybe one of her teachers taught her how to draw a pentagram. I don't know. But yeah, you want to go down a rabbit hole, look up Helen Keller and faking it or something. Like, I'm not saying it's true, but yeah, that's a hell of a rabbit hole right there. Donovan Warland uses whack a lot, lol. And yes, some crap is just whack. He would have had a lot of time to think, Stephen Hawking. Yeah. Apparently he, like, had a girlfriend on the side. He was still getting some, Kind of, like, I don't know if I should be happy for him or envious, jealous of the guy that, like, my handsome ass ain't getting as much action as Stephen Hawking, apparently. I mean, he's dead now, but, at one point, shit, you ever get a Stephen Hawking joke about no, I better not. No, let's not do Stephen Hawking jokes today. Not during this one here. The color blue is pretty cool. You saw the Game Boy, yeah. So, like, look, man, it's a model number I showed you. And I didn't charge it yet. I'm going to do it on my weekend. My weekend starts tomorrow. Like, I go to work tomorrow, and then I got to find the charging cable or the charging brick, which might be right here, or it might not be. I want to get a USB cable if I don't already have one that's compatible, because I think that charging a Game Boy off a USB cable is, I don't mean to be jumping topics, but yeah, Wade has a website on his profile, on his YouTube profile, where it's like, you know, it's like the Throne Me site, where it's like, you know, like it's got things like that. You could put a wish list up and people could actually contribute. And then when enough money is raised for a given product, it automatically ships to you. And so I was like, well, if you want a Game Boy Advanced SP, I'll hook it up. You know, it's like, I mean, it's not in grandiose condition, but oh, I never sent you the video. Did I send you the video? I don't know if I sent you the video, but yeah, I'll just show you real quick. Not trying to do it, you know, be up late, but you know, I want you to see this. So yeah, you know, the screen's in okay condition, but I really want to charge the battery to see if it's the screen that is brighter or dimmer, because I think they had two versions of the screen on this, and I want to test the battery, make sure it's not a fire hazard, and determine if we want to replace the battery. I guess it's blue. It looks like a purplish blue. I promised to clean it. I'm going to clean it with some alcohol and water, mostly alcohol. No serial number on here. It's a AGS001. But yeah, you know, so when I do plug in the charger, I'm going to put in my Game Boy flash cartridge. Oh, I gotta dust the inside. Look at that, it's mad dusty in there. Flip it. Flip it which way? Okay, so I'll flip it. I'll show you both ways. So okay, there's the bottom. There's your cart slot. I'm gonna show you all of it. Okay, there's the left side. That's a volume rocker. My camera might be doing injustice to the quality. I'll show you parts that look sketchy. The back bumpers seem good. Bumpers feel pretty good. Power switch makes that nice clicking sound. It doesn't look like it's been taken apart by anyone other than me. Of course I'll clean it. You know, like I'll clean it up to the point that it can be cleaned. But the inside looks pretty good. You can see like the inside wasn't exposed to the elements too much, right? You probably had some dust getting stuck in here that made it scratched up a little bit. And you can see like there's a scratch over here. Sometimes I feel like my camera has blurriness in it. But you can see that little scratch right there. Maybe that I might even be able to buff that out. Sometimes I use brake cleaner to clean these types of things. I mean, to remove scratches. You got a shit ton of scratches here. These I don't think I could buff out. I wouldn't try, because I can clean it, but I'm not going to try to buff out the scratches because I don't want to accidentally remove the paint job. I could paint it if you really want, but I don't recommend that you have me paint it. I mean, unless you really want. The A and B buttons seem pretty normal. You know, like they got the tactile click. This one was interesting. It felt like someone had something almost like, thought something was getting stuck, but no, it feels good now. Select button looks like it's got more mileage on it, though. That's weird. Yeah, I think something, either the plastic adhered to the inside surface or someone got juice in there, but it doesn't seem to be like enough to be a problem, but I might do an internal cleaning just because I'm a nice guy. The D-pad feels pretty good. It's got that nice, you know, tactile, and it's got the, you know, basically like you could do your diagonal. Yeah, so like, look at that. It's like, what is that? I don't know. Like, look at that. You see that on the top of the D-pad? That could just be like the plastic being, you know, what do you call it? Abrasion? Like, it just be an abrasion on the corners rubbing against the plastic due to friction. Or that could be like some kind of food. But it doesn't really matter, because as long as it works and the button's not getting stuck. And let me see, I'll get you that close up one more time, Wade. So this one's from 2002, patent pending C booklet. I don't have the booklet, sorry. Made in China. Made in Western Taiwan. Yeah, there's dirt under my nail. This is AGS001, 5.2 volt, 1.6 watt. It's got a Lion battery in there. The model number for the Lion battery is AGS003. I can't believe they kill lions to make a battery. That's just reprehensible. But jokes aside, yeah, so these batteries can be ordered on eBay and Amazon typically. Chances are it still holds a charge. but I want to see how much of a charge it actually holds while I'm, so I'm going to charge it, then I'm going to clean it if it works. And then if it if I think it needs a new battery, I might just go and, get a battery for it, because, and that's if the battery is well reviewed, because I don't want to just put a piece of shit battery in there that goes on fire. But, I hope you enjoy it. I appreciate hearing that you'll cherish it. That means a lot. And, that's why, I try to hook it up, because yeah, when someone hooks it up for me, I also cherish it, right? Like what's something that someone gave me that I appreciate that is on this desk? Okay, wait, can't show that. Can't show that. That would be sketchy to show. But oh yeah, I got my Star Trek Federation passport. I did a stream on that a while ago. My brother got that for me when I was a child. I, for the life of me, can't remember where I put my Game Boy Micro. I'm not even kidding about that, guys. Wait, I know where it is. It's supposed to be here. I remember now. I put it over here because when I went to make a video for Wade, I put the Game Boy Micro here. I got pocket PCs from the 90s. I got some, I got my LCX ornament. You guys know LCX? She's pretty cool. So LCX is a gamer, right? And I think I showed this last week. I didn't show the other one yet, but it's very nice. And actually on the Teespring site for Floral from Under a Rock, oh, that's weird. It already has a piece of chipped ceramic. I didn't even drop it. I mean, whatever. I'll still treasure this anyway. But that's funny. It's got a little chip there. But if you go to the Teespring site for Floral from Under a Rock, and it says load save state. Oh, I see. Just cute. I love her art style. I gotta get some. I think I ordered a t-shirt too. I think I got a t-shirt coming in at some point. Yeah, I don't know where my Game Boy Micro is, but it's not important. Not nearly as important as remembering Tron. Yeah, I'll figure out where the Game Boy. I don't want to lose my Game Boy Micro again, because I just found it recently, and it was missing for 2 weeks. And I swear, every couple of months, I misplaced that Game Boy Micro because it's so small. Oh, I remember where it is now. It's in my jeans. It's in my shorts. It's in a zipper pocket in my shorts. So it's right over there. I know exactly where the Game Boy Micro is. LCX, yeah, that's spelled like this. Yeah, I'll show you. Oh, God, darn it. I think I just farted out loud. I mean, I did not fart out loud. I totally did not fart. Yo, dude, by the way, and you'll get it soon, Wade, not too long, right? I just gotta, do a thing. When this is over, we should raid Pop Culture Republic. This dude is cool. I like this guy a lot. And that sounded gay. But no, jokes aside, I really do like Pop Culture Republic's content. He's just a cool dude. He's a lot like me in that he talks about shit he likes. And, he's cool. And, I'm cool. So, of course, I know what cool looks like. Wait, there we go. Yeah, this guy here. Yeah, this is Pop Culture Republic. Real cool guy. He's just a cool dude, a gentleman. Also, Mexican Iron Man comes back to Loki's Mornings of Mischief tomorrow. Wow, I got a lot of crap to open on these tabs here. I like this video title. AI is not the future. You people should listen to that guy. Got a lot of cool people on. We got Prophet of the Dragon. We got Lin Minmay from Macross. We got George Orwell. Shit, I didn't know he was still around. Nah, but jokes aside, let's bookmark this from Mr. Londell's. By the way, Mr. Londell's groovy movies. He has a lot of interesting movies. He played Metropolis the other day. But okay, let me get you to our friend L. So this is how you spell LCX. And she's basically a VTuber using PNG graphics. But the way she rolls, I like the way she rolls, just like how I said before, how Tron inspires me. If I was a VTuber, this girl would inspire me. So if she's in a certain mood, she'll have this avatar on. Oh, cool. I never seen her OBS window. You know how badly I want to see her OBS window? That sounds like a dirty joke. Yo, hey girl, I want to check out your OBS window. But no, jokes aside, there's certain people, like same thing, Tron too. I always want to see Tron's OBS setup, you know? But look, she got like her room. It's like she's in like a nice bedroom. She got like a poster on the wall in a bikini. And then she'll go and switch into gameplay mode while she has this weird double helix hairdo. She'll do. She did a commission for Brandon the anime guy the other day. Nah, dude. I don't give a shit. Wait, I don't give a shit. You do you, man. Like you had a logical reason. Hey, look, you know, I'm willing to give you the game. I offer to give you the Game Boy regardless. I don't care if you put up a Throne Me website and ask for 10 Game Boys. You know, it doesn't mean you'll get them, but if 10 of the people want to, or 20 of the people want to fund 10 Game Boys and I give you one, I mean, maybe if you had 10 Game Boys, I might be like a little bit less sympathetic. I might be like, look, buddy, you already got 10 Game Boys. I'm going to do a hardware mod on this one. But, you know, even if you had 4 Game Boys, I'd rather just give you one if you want one, right? Because, like, what am I going to do with this? I got a Game Boy that I love already. But yeah, look at this, man. Look at this. Look at this. Just like a chibi. You got like a little chibi version of itself right over here. Look, see, that's Brandon, the anime guy. That is Brandon, the anime guy. And she's wearing a towel. Now, I don't know if it's wrong to say this. About to say something. Maybe I shouldn't say it. Not about. It's about something else. But I'm going to show the Game Boy Micro real quick. Maybe I'll wrap up. James is getting tired. And James is one of our mainstay mods.
Says number one else gonna say anything about that?
But yeah, so this is my Game Boy Micro. And the reason I want to show you this real quick is because once I charge the battery on this, I'm going to put the flash card in here too. Because I'm dying to see if this, I mean, I don't know, just I want to see the games I have on there because that thing was cool. But here's the thing I want to know real quick. Genuine question. I remember I used to have trouble opening these when I was a kid. My friend had a Game Boy. I was like, how the hell do you open those? But I have a question. Do these work inside? I honestly don't. Okay, so this is the thing about what the difference between. So this is the cool thing about Game Boy Advanced SP is that it'll play Game Boy Color games and regular, as far as I'm aware, Game Boy games. But the Game Boy Micro that I have, I remember when I first wanted to get one of these, yeah, you can't put them in, right? So you would think that kind of sucks because now that means you can only put Game Boy Advanced games in here. But actually, because I bought the Easy Flash Omega with the micro SD card slot in it, this here, in fact, I'll just show you real quick. And this works on any Game Boy Advanced, including the Game Boy Advanced SP. So let's see how the LCD is. So if you notice here, look, I got Game Boy Advanced, Game Boy. So remember, I can't put a regular Game Boy cartridge in here. But I have a bunch of Game Boy games in here. Game Boy Color, Game Boy Original, all of it. We have NES. So this is another thing that you can't normally play. Oh, and look, they got the .NES files on the SD card. So it's like that easy to load. And I got like Mario on here. And it's like the only issue is like with Mario, the screen resolution is like a little bit like lower than a normal TV. Also, this game here, Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam Hot Scramble, literally does not work on here because it has like fake 3D graphics that apparently just don't work on this particular emulation. Where's Super Mario? I'll just give you guys a quick example here real quick. Super Wario Brothers. I think I found the wrong game. Let's go for the letter M. Stargate? Oh, I thought it said Stargate. Marble Madness, Galaga, Marble, Mario Mania. Okay, whatever. We're not going to find it right now, so we're just going to open up a different game. So, when you open this up, one of the things is that we're going to get to the title screen. I'm going to show you something interesting here. So if you hold down this button here, the L and R bumpers, you get a hidden menu. And when you go to display, it's got different modes. It's got like this mode here, you can see how like it's the whole image, but now to like pan up and down, I have to press L and R like this. So that might be some games that can work out, other games that could be really annoying. So usually I play the games like this, even though it causes things to like be shuffled down. I just, even though it compresses everything disproportionately, it is, the best way if you need to be able to see the scoreboard. And what's cool is it doesn't stretch the sprite. So you can tell it to stretch the sprite or not stretch it. But anyway, we're going to go and exit this real quick. I messed up and tried the original Pokemon Gold in the original Game Boy. Oh, does that not work? That's a game. I thought Pokemon Gold works in the original Game Boy. I thought I had Pokemon. Oh, no, I had Pokemon Yellow. I got Pokemon Yellow. Yeah. Pokemon Yellow, I had that until it got stolen in junior high school. I'm assuming it got stolen. It disappeared from my book bag one day, and I didn't notice for like a week or two. So by that point, it was like I couldn't, remember when I last saw my Game Boy. I just knew I didn't have it anymore, and that Pokemon Yellow was in the slot when I lost it. But lastly, yeah, so basically you can play Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advanced, and NES games, whereas normally this would only play Game Boy Advanced games. Now, there are ways to, like, if you get a blank Game Boy Advanced cartridge, you can actually load, like, NES games into a single ROM file. But it's just easier to have this. So this is cool because this will work on both the Game Boy Advanced and Game Boy Micro. And yeah, I like the Game Boy Micro a lot too. It is a little tiny. The screen on this one is definitely a bit larger. I mean, you can see, you can see the difference. Like, even though Game Boy Micro, like, I love it because like I can bring it on the bus. I could, and like I have a USB cable for this, so it is a different port, by the way. See, it looks almost like HDMI, but it's like it's perfect for the commute. It is. It's perfect for the commute. It's perfect when there's downtime in the office. Like it's great for all of these things. I wonder if Leisure Suit Larry was ever ported to Nintendo. Oh, I wonder. Let's see. Real quick. So a while back, I had a crazy idea. So you ever have a friend that you want to get a hooker for? So what happened was I saw a BBC special, and it was basically about a company that you can contract. Let's say you have a disability. You can actually, like, hire this company to send, like, a guy or girl to you or your place of residence, or you send yourself to them. And it's like, it was a totally legal version of prostitution for people with disabilities. And I was like watching this and I'm saying, shit, like, should we do this? Can we do this for Tron? And I was like vacillating over this for like a couple of months. I'm saying, like, on and off, and thinking to myself, this would be a good idea to get him a hooker in so many words. But at the same time, like, I didn't know, if it would be like, awkward to be like, hey buddy, would you like us to get you a hooker? Or I didn't want to, get someone's hopes up and then be like, oh, they're not allowed to do it in your state. So, just like, but that's the thing. If you know someone with a disability, there are companies that actually do like a version of legal prostitution. And I think it's kind of important because I remember there was an episode of Stargate Universe, and I know Stargate Universe gets a bad rap, but it wasn't that bad. Like, I get why people don't like it, but it grew on me. It grew on me like a lump of mold. And if the thing about Stargate Universe was, and good evening, it's just Robbie. Thank you for dropping by. I'll tell you about it in one moment. I already had delivered bad news to one friend tonight. But it's in the YouTube algorithm. If you type in our friend's name, the legendary Tron, you'll see other people did dedication videos too. Because unfortunately, our friend the legendary Tron did pass away last week, and it was kind of sudden. But also kind of like it's like not. It was a surprise. It wasn't a total surprise. It was like yeah, when someone has that condition, but obviously, like, we all want to see him kicking it another 10. Maybe 20 years, right? I mean, I think we would all want that. And I mean, of course, if he was in pain, then I guess we could find solace that he's not in pain anymore. But of course, we would much rather see him be alive and not in pain, right? We want to have our cake and eat it too. We want our friend to have his cake and continue eating it too. Well, I'm talking like a preacher now. Oh, bummer. I dropped the Game Boy game, and I need to find it. Oh, here it is. I don't want to leave any. It was a scissor. It wasn't even a Game Boy game. But yeah, so is there a Leisure Suit Larry for NES? Oh, yo, James, buddy, we got news for you. Leisure Suit Larry port released for the Nintendo Entertainment System. There you go. I dropped the link to the Reddit page, which would then in turn give you a link to a video that might have a link to the product. I never played it before, but I heard a lot of things about it. I'm very sorry. It's just Robbie, man. I didn't mean to, I don't want to be like the guy who gives you bad news, but, spent some time remembering the way I met Tron. My first time seeing him streaming on Echo Base Network. That was literally how I met Tron, was like just seeing him on Echo Base Network. How his cool graphics kind of like contributed to me being inspired. Well, at least, it helped to kind of pique my interest in doing what we're doing right now. We didn't do too many fancy graphics, but, some of his graphics were inspiring to me. A lot of what interests me is just having the flexibility of switching between different scenes, like having this downward facing camera, which is why it's absolutely frustrating that my Stream Deck randomly likes to lag on me. Being able to alternate between monitors. Now, Brandon Anime Guy, he's up on the graphics. We mentioned him already tonight, but, that's what Tron had going. He would he had to leave his desk or go off camera. He would hit a button. You have this cool animated wheelchair. It was a good setup. And, it was an honor knowing him. I was honored to be able to, work with him and collaborate with him a couple of times. And, in particular, just when he was away from home and he needed someone to just kind of take his written script and read it to a camera for him. And then even after I was doing that, for 10 videos, he found a way to do it through a website that would use an AI-generated, character, AI-generated avatar. And so it's I respect that because it's he found a way to do it on his own. He didn't ask me, how do I do this? He figured it out. I give him a lot of props, for being that guy, being the one to figure out his own stuff. Whenever possible, obviously, he's not going to put the graphics card inside his computer. He's going to have a good friend to help him with that, which he had good friends who would do that too. Yeah, it's true. I love him as a good friend for many years. I had no idea, and I'm sad to hear the world is a darker place. I agree, Robbie. He's so good at games and streaming and interacting. He was, yeah. He was on it. He was on his game, both literally and figuratively, when it came to streaming and gaming and, showing respect to the people in the chat, and letting people join his show sometimes. That was always a good time. That's how I really got to befriend him. Did I misread something? Did his dog die? Oh my god, his dog, the Doberman? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to have a loud outburst. Hey DJ Ronnie G, Deborah Cohen says, Snowdub's dog passed away. He posted a video about it, just wanted to let you know. Alright, I only have one candle, but this candle which looks weird under the chroma key. And now it looks overexposed. Oh shit, I've got wax on my computer. We now have wax on my keyboard, guys. A little levity and a dark moment there. But anyway, aside from getting wax on my keyboard, so we have a candle. This represents, this is for Tron and Jolly's dog, although I think, humans first. Although dogs are, good companions, and I know Snowdub Jolly treated his dog well. I remember he would post these beautiful shorts with his Dobermans, and he kind of showed me that Dobermans are not dicks, because I used to be afraid of Dobermans, And no, he showed that Dobermans can be cool. And I remember he went to some place and Doberman was on super duper watchdog mode, the dog was in sentry mode, I guess you would call it. And it was cool because even in that moment where the dog is a little bit antsy, it's you could tell the dog's just looking out for his family, his people. So, yes, indeed, I definitely have to send him a message or something. I'm not going to do a dedication stream for a dog I never met, but I certainly, feel for Jolly. I mean, I got my turtles. I mean, this might look like I'm joking, but I'm not. I love my turtles. Like, this is Puffy right over here, and I'm grateful that turtles are long lived. What up, Matt Cave? I'll get to your message in a second. But I hope they're truly long lived. I hope I'm doing the things that are necessary or that would allow them to live like beyond their normal lifespan. Because typically in captivity, most people get like 20 years. Some people take better care of them and they get 30, 40 years. But typically like 30 years and up, it's more of an outlier scenario. But in theory, they might be able to push 60. I have a feeling that hibernation might extend their lifespan and I don't hibernate them. But I'm not sure if that's actually a significant factor. But my point is that, like, yeah, I knock on wood, I don't want to have to, I don't want that day to be anytime soon where I have to walk up to the tank and see, an inanimate turtle. Because two things. One, I'd have to scoop the turtle out, and I don't want to handle a dead turtle, I mean, I will have to because I will handle them with, tenderly and give them a nice, burial, but number two, I'm going to have to fucking purge the part of my language. I'm going to have to purge the water in the tank. I'm going to have to clean the tank. Because if you have an animal die in the tank and you got another animal living in there, a tank mate, Squirtle, or Puffy, a Puffy and Squirtle, like, you got to be careful. You don't want to mess around with that. You don't want to have, like, whatever might have killed one turtle harming the other one. But that's besides the point. My point is that, yeah, like, I have a pretty thin skin when it comes to burying animals because I haven't had a lot of experience with, my own dogs per se. I've taken care of other people's dogs before. But yeah, Matt Cave has some fine words here. He says, Tron was the best. He was the type of person this world needs. But the world never deserved him. Just the nicest guy ever. Well said, Matt Cave. I do want to say, did I say hi to you yet? Well, it's good to see you, Matt Cave Gaming. Obviously, I wish it was under, different circumstances, but it is, you got good content. And like I said, you saw my comment. Did I tell you my comment? I don't mean to shift topic, but for a long time, I was having trouble with the NES Bluetooth gamepad, Matt. And it turned out all I had to do was close Steam. Like, apparently leaving Steam open because it's got some, like, that input stuff, the stuff that controls input, or, gamepads answer to Steam somehow, basically, or, allows you to configure gamepads or whatever. Bottom line is, yeah, like, you can use the NES gamepad in Steam, but if you want to use it in an emulator that is outside of Steam, then you got to completely close Steam. And once you do, it's great because the turbo buttons, like we discussed earlier, are fantastic. But let's keep rolling here. Yeah, and I hear you, Robbie, man. Hey, what's up? Feel free to think. 885, 80085. Is that a microprocessor? I feel like that's a microprocessor reference. Never stop, DJ Ronnie. You make me so happy just seeing you do whatever you love. Thanks, man. That means a lot. I try to have fun doing what I love, and maybe this week we'll do something with oh yeah, I finally got the 3D glasses to work here. It was a pain in the butt, but the trick with the 3D glasses is you got to double up on them. Like, so I literally have a triple stack. You see, they're literally triple stacked or double stacked. I forget. I think they're double. No, they're double stacked. Yeah, so I had to double stack the celluloid, and then I had to wear these. So I would put this on, and put double stacked celluloids in front of it, and because if you don't do that, yeah, the old calculator joke, boobs, yeah, and then there was the one where you do the math equation or math problem, and it's like, some lady went and did this, and then you minus that, then she did plus that, and then by the time you're done, you flip the calculator upside down, you say, and that lady is now boobless. And I mean, like, well, first time I did it, my friend just typed in the word boobless, and he's like, boobless. Then, like, my brother showed it to me, and he's, like, smart. So he was smart at the time in school. So, like, he actually knew the mathematics that would get you to the final result to make it say boobless, and it's almost like a comedy skit along the way. Like as you're adding and subtracting different things, that's part of the gag. So I'm sure you look it up, you could probably find that if you ever want to teach some kids how to calculate stuff like that. Does wax on a keyboard qualify as whack? Talk to Gator about that, James. I think he'll agree. In fact, I'm going to keep that wax on the keyboard. I'm going to keep the wax on the keyboard. And I'm going to jump in on Snacks and Friends tomorrow. Snacks and Comics, Snacks and Friends. He's doing a stream with Punk Model probably. He's doing I think he's doing a arts and crafts stream where he's going to be building something. So, yeah, I'm going to leave the wax on, the candle wax on my keyboard. I'm sure we'll have some kind of messed up comedy routine revolving around of that. I mean, unless I press the print screen button on my keyboard, yeah, then it's gonna. Oh wow, that's in there. That's pretty firm. Like that, I'm pressing on it right now. That thing is in. Oh my goodness, I got an X-Acto knife for cleaning it. In fact, I have a tool for removing the keys. So that I can clean them. One of these days, I do have to unplug my keyboard because you really can't clean the keyboard while it's plugged in. I mean, you could, but you start pressing random buttons and that can get troublesome. So anyway, let's see where we are. But hey, they don't last. Wait, what are we talking about again? Oh yeah, my arsenal. Bigger dogs are generally more chill, but they don't last long. Yeah, that's true. That's another thing. So like when I look at dogs, if my dad ever wants to get a dog, it's like my thing would be like, what species lives longer? Try to get maybe strike a balance between like a medium dog, like because I don't really like the small dogs that are loud. Also, my thing is like, well, what type of dogs do better walking upstairs? I want a dog that's not going to have knee problems like overnight. I want to, try to, basically choosing a dog in a way that would ensure that the dog has a good quality of life in your living situation, So, like, you don't get a husky if you live in a small apartment, or you don't get a husky if you're not going to walk them, right? You need to be able to walk a husky. My coworker, he was lied to. They told him that the dog would stay small. They sell him the dog, and it turns out that the dog is going to get big because it's a husky. So it's like, whether they lied intentionally or by accident, who knows? But they also know that once you love the dog, you're not going to just, abandon the dog. At least most reasonable people aren't going to be like, you're too big, F off. It's like, no, you're going to treat the dog like family once they're part of your family. I mean, unless you know someone that is going to take better care of the dog, than you are, and you can trust them to do that, maybe then you would, rehome the dog, right? I love that it's like people try to sugarcoat it. It's like rehome the turtle. It's like, look, you just want to get rid of it. Just say it. Okay, jokes aside, that's mean. In my arsehole opinion, bigger dogs are generally more chill. Oh yeah, I read of that already. I imagine you don't want necrotic germs in the aquarium. Yeah, exactly. That's like a valid concern. Like, it's just like, it's a thing. So like, when I had fish die in the tank, no, I didn't actually. The turtles ate the fish, so I didn't have to worry about that. Yeah, that was fine. Nice. I got to try connecting my NES gamepads. I have the SNES, Genesis, and N64 version. All of them can be wired and work great. Wait, what? Wired? These can be wired? Or the other ones? I got to look into that. Or do they have an adapter? I've been doing this all through Bluetooth, and it works fine. At one point recently, I did have a weird lag issue, but for the most part, I was having a very good time playing Metroid with this gamepad on my PC. I think I was using FCE Ultra, although I do want to try out Messin, the other emulator that's popular. Pairing it with my phone, Matt Cave, that was the problem. So, using this on my phone, at least back when I had a Galaxy Note 8 and a Galaxy Fold, it had like a 1 second input latency. So, I mean, obviously, it's like impossible to play Mario when a real original NES or Famicom doesn't have input latency and your phone does, then, I mean, I'm not going to adapt my brain to that 1 second latency. It's like, it better work. So I look it up and people are like, oh, try disconnecting it and reconnecting it 10 times. Sometimes after the 10th time, it'll magically work. And it might be because certain Bluetooth devices have like a pecking order, almost like a priority list. So maybe that in some cases tricks the device into giving the gamepad a higher priority. I downloaded a third-party app that had the ability to sort of do that, but it didn't seem to do anything at all. So yeah, I haven't done it on my Note 20 yet, but at some point I'll try it out on my Note 20 Ultra and see what happens, because I would love nothing more than to put the phone on a desk when I'm out of the house and play on this gamepad. I mean, I think that would be super cool. I mean, I could do that on a Nintendo Switch, but the point is that a phone can play NES games quite well, basically perfectly. And so something I could fit in my pocket versus my whole Nintendo Switch, even though it's pretty compact, a phone is more compact. And usually, well, you get the idea. The other connects via USB Type-C. Only the NES gamepads are wireless only. Ah, thank you. That's good to know, Matt Cave. So, yeah, if you get the Genesis, N64, or Super Nintendo gamepads for the Nintendo Switch, they can be connected via USB Type-C. And that's good to know, because when you're paying that much for a gamepad, you want to know that it's got these functions, right? The others connect via USB-C. Oh, yeah, I read that. Okay. Part Chihuahua, part Pit Bull Terrier, only 25 to 30 pounds, fully grown, fabulous little brown dog. Beautiful. Now, dogs are cool, man. I used to walk a dog named Bella. She was a female red-nosed pit bull. Red-nosed or blue-nosed? No, red-nosed. So I'm going to dim my lights. I'm going to dim my lights so we can get into the mood. Let's get it on. Okay, now, jokes aside. Oh, good. Peter Venkman fan site is here. You're just in time. I was about to put on a striptease. Let's get it on. Okay, jokes aside, jokes aside. I don't know how long you've been here, but if, I spent basically the first half of the stream, remembering Tron, reminiscing about how I met Tron through Echo-based network. So, if you want, skim through that. But also, if you search Legendary Tron in the search algorithm, Peter Venkman fan site, you'll see other people, remembering Tron as well. So it is that. But now, I try to transition to a more lighthearted segment, right? Because, I don't want to depress people, and I think Tron would want you all to be happy too. I think he would want you guys to, continue enjoying yourself, because he knew how to have a good time. He had a sense of humor. I remember a story that Stone Loki was telling where like, I think he was doing like a lightsaber routine, and he hits his wife in the buttocks with the lightsaber, and Tron is cracking up, and Tron's like, yeah! And then, like, so he does it again, and Tron is just having a grand old time. He's just cracking up at the impropriety of, this dude hitting, the chick with the lightsaber, or his first officer, I guess you would call her now, right? Like on Star Trek, first officer, captain, anyway. But yeah, so shit like that. I mean, Loki could tell the story better because he was literally there. So, I mean, like, I think he told the story on his show, like, on Friday or Thursday, or was it yesterday? I think it might have been Wednesday. I'm sorry, guys. I don't remember. I watched it on the replay, so yeah. Venkman Impella location. Howdy. Impella location. Hail to the 199. Is that another mathematical question where I should turn my head sideways to read that? I don't think so. The 199. I do like the Galaxy Express 39. I do have to finish re-encoding those episodes. So I get Galaxy Express 39 on Blu-ray. I still got to get one more, like disc 3 or box set number 3. Great series. It's very grainy, which I don't have a problem with, except that when you go to take a Blu-ray that's grainy, even an animation, grainy animation ends up being large, like 5 gigs or something like insane number, like either 2 or 5 gigs for like a half hour. And then no, it's 5 gigs for a half hour. I think it was 8 gigs. No, it was 8 gigs for a half hour. So I have a Gundam cartoon. It was 5 gigs for 24, for a half hour. This is like nearly 8 gigs for a half hour because the film grain makes the file larger. That's why when you download bootleg copies of Walking Dead, that they can sometimes be either low quality or very large files because of the film grain. I get it. Impeller location equals fan site. I get it. The location of the fan, which is impelling. Yeah. Yeah. That's a good one. That's very good. He got you there. Venkman. or at least their name's sake. So yeah, anyway, I think I'm gonna wrap up because I do have to be up at 5 a.m. I might be eventually, not ready to do it yet, but did my camera move up? I'm not ready to do it yet, but I'm thinking about moving the Monday show to like Wednesday, maybe. I don't know. I'm not ready to do it yet, but if I do move the Monday show, I'm thinking about continuing to call it the Monday show just to confuse people and just for the comedic impact of calling it the Monday show. Like, Monday show every Wednesday at 9 p.m. It wouldn't be 9 p.m. because Floral is on. And speaking of people who are on right now, is my friend Pop Culture Republic still on? Pop Culture Curator. Okay, Marketing stream ended. Oh, cool. Late Night Musings with PCR. He's still on. Yeah, let's raid Pop Culture Republic while we're here. All right, guys? If you want to check out my friend, check out my friend. There he is, right? Pop Culture Republic. Also, that's interesting. Did the color yellow blend into the chroma key? I don't know. It looks cool. It just looks cool the way to let. Oh, that's interesting. How did I do that? I don't even know how. Oh, I know how I did that. It's kind of interesting. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm very easily distracted. We'll blow out the candle in just a moment. When I go to the restroom, I don't want to leave an open flame on my desk, The big ass titty. Sci-Fi Nation's also a cool dude. I mean, he's a nice dude. I met him a while ago. But I want to see what Pop Culture Republic is doing tonight. So we're going to give him a raid. I mean, you can raid anyone you want. You don't have to raid anybody that I say to raid, of course. I lost the YouTube chat window, so let's get that back on screen. In reverse order, I do want to thank the Peter Venkman fan site, Free to Think, the Matt Cave Gaming, who has a great streaming site. I think I have you programmed into my stream elements. Let's see if that works. Did I spell Matt Cave correctly? Maybe I don't have you in there. That's too bad. Let's hoping I could just easily type in. I mean, if anyone wants to be added to the list, let me know. But I definitely would add you to the list because I like having an option to type in a command to get a link to pop up on the screen whenever somebody visits, So that's Matt Cave right there. There you go. Let's get Pop Culture Republic's link right now. Oh, God, I opened that jerk off's video. The other guy, the guy before I told you about. Let's get that guy's video off screen. I don't even want to have that up. So, yeah, no doubt, Matt. Pop Culture Republic. And then beyond that, like I say, once again, feel free to think. Thank you so much for the, how do I phrase it? Motivational words means a lot. Deborah Cohen, did I say your name? I did read your, I did read your chat. Oh, thank you for dropping in. And also thank you for, letting me know about Jolly's dog. So, we can, at least try to, make him feel better or something, Real Wade Gaming Nation. Real Wade Nation Gaming Clips. It's a mouthful. I think I said James already. Well, if I didn't, we have James here too. Arkansas. We had Arkansas, one of the more clever names in the chat. The Phantom Hooligans. I wouldn't say he's a Phantom Hooligan. I'd say he's just a straight up hooligan. Nah, jokes aside, he's a cool dude though. I like his content. And I like the content he does with my friends, right? He does content. I mean, obviously he's a friend too, but like he does a lot of work with Pacific 414 and Baron Orman Tag, and I bet you I have Baron programmed into the chat thing. We had Pop Culture Mechanic. Now that's important because Pop Culture Mechanic is going to be doing a show tomorrow night around 9 p.m. Eastern time. I think that's like, I don't know, 8 o'clock Mountain Time. Yeah, he's gonna do a show called Trades Talk Tuesday. So yeah, he always has some clever stuff going on there. I want to thank Amber M, General Sorrow, and Larry Maglio. That's my father actually. Yeah, Jet Sparks 373 and Psycho Dwarf 9 had dropped in here too. So I think we did Yeah, so that's why I picked the Monday show. So feel free to think. It says do a Sunday show. No one has anything on Sunday. That's basically why I do Mondays, because I figured that like it would be a good time slot, and my logic was like it'll get me to go to bed sooner, because obviously I can't stay here till 3 a.m. streaming. So I'll end the stream in a timely manner so I can go to bed. The problem is that when I end it, I'm kind of a bit wired. That's why I'm kind of phasing out my lights right now. You might have seen me on Ryan Raja Afty's show. I was on a couple of episodes actually. If you do like a search, Ryan Raja Afty and my name, I was like, actually I've gotten a pretty good amount of press on his show, to the point that I feel like I need to be giving him some press now to pay it back. Not that I feel obligated per se, but like aside from like one time I did a requested video, like, you know, like to give when he did those videos where he gives his thoughts, he did an episode of Reality Based with me. Here we are. So Dawn Stream Deck is doing it again. There we go. See, he got this funny thumbnail where I don't know if that's a serious look or a funny look on my face, but hey, at least my eyes are looking straight. So I gotta hand it to him. He shows a good picture where my eyes are looking straight. He could have showed us a picture where I'm looking all cockeyed, cross-eyed, or you know, where one eye goes this way. Here we are. We got this one here, Reality Based Extreme. I forgot I was on an episode of Reality Based Extreme. Apparently he gave me an hour and 40 minutes twice. I don't know why I don't remember the second time I was on a show 8 months ago. 1 year ago, 8 months ago. I hope I didn't suck when I was on his show last time. I would love to stream with him again. Last time I had him on my show, I was a little worried that I was keeping him up late or dragging him out of bed too early, so I was a little worried there. And I might have been a little bit stiff, but he's always a good time. And also, I love his unholy sense. Oh, this was a disaster, yo. This was a dumpster fire. So I was on Reality Based Gaming. I messaged him afterwards and hey, I reviewed the show and I kind of talked too much. And he said it in the most polite way. He's like, you know, you're probably better off for a one-on-one conversation or some shit like that. But like, he wasn't wrong, because I was talking a lot. I was jumping across different topics. But that's why I met Third Four, and that guy's a good time. Third Four and Appion, they're pretty cool people. Third Four is the most unholy person. He's like he just says, like, if you ever tune into his like Thursday night show, he lives in New Zealand, so you can imagine what time that's at. He says some unholy shit, man. That guy is funny. Hey, what's up, Everest Productions? So you say, ... Yeah, he's an OG, all right. It's good to see you there, Lord Crit. Yeah, basically, I think he must have done a reality based on everyone. You're right, with everyone. Sassy Sasquatch is most Sundays about 3 p.m., which I don't do 3 p.m. It's like, I'm at work on Sunday. I'm at work till like 9 on Sunday. So the problem with Sunday is that if I'm not well rested, I got to make up for lost sleep, because that's my first day back at work. But Sunday might not be a bad idea. Or I could pick a time slot maybe after both Floral and Snow Dub on Wednesday, or maybe I pick Thursday. I think Thursday is one of the better candidates, because I can like do a tech show, call it Tech Thursday. You know, even now, like if I want to do shows, even if I continue doing the Monday show on Monday, I still like doing the occasional Thursday stream. I haven't done it in a while, mainly because I've been so consistent about doing Mondays. I feel less of a need. Yeah, I got to be up at 5 a.m. free to think. Yep. Maybe you were asleep. Usually I am. Yeah. I comment too much there. Her topics anger me. I might get myself in trouble. Sassy Sasquatch? She seems nice. I mean, I've seen her and Mr. Cannoli Sasquatch. They seem like nice enough people. I love their names. I think she used to be called Miss Cannoli Sasquatch, but either way, I love the concept of a cannoli and a Sasquatch. I'm usually the one who streams at 3. You stream at 3? Or you watch people at 3? Oh, yeah, I got you. Well, maybe I should do a stream at 3 a.m. so that you can tune in. It's true, though. I've done a few late night streams where you drop in. That's true, Peter Venkman fan site. Can you drop a link? Yeah, sure. Make it snappy. I need to go to bed. I'll give you a wrench so that you can drop a link. Great. Now I'm going to have to give Peter Venkman fan site a wrench. I don't want you to feel responsible, Venkman fan site, but if you ever need a wrench or want a wrench, let me know because, you know, ever since, what's his name? Blaine stopped streaming or took a break from streaming, it's like, I don't get to see you as a wrench anywhere. But jokes aside, you know, you're always good company regardless of wrench or no wrench. So yeah, I gave you a wrench. I think I gave you a wrench. There you go. Good. Okay, good. So you can drop a link. There you go. So that's Wade's Twitter X link. And that's kind. And I'm gonna give that a heart like right there. And cool. Not cool. Not. I'm just reading up the tweet. The dog dying is not cool. Obviously, the tweeting is cool. Shit. Lost my dopamine suddenly. Took him to the emergency room, but they couldn't save him. Vet bills and cremation really set me back. Any help? Yeah, he's been like raising money for his son's birthday party. And there's still like a meetup happening like very soon. Like, in fact, I think it's the meetup I plan on attending. If it's the same October meetup, I believe I'll be meeting Jolly there and getting a free t-shirt. Although I don't know if I'll be getting a free, I don't expect, I'll buy a t-shirt from him, you know, honestly. I don't expect a free shirt. I mean, I'd be honored to receive a shirt from him, but I don't want him to feel obligated, you know. She's been covering trans kids stuff. It's abuse. So was she covering it in favor of or against? Anyway, I guess I'll check out her content sometime. I'll find out myself. But, you know, like, it's like, yeah, it's like, look, I understand, like, some people might actually feel genuine improvement to their quality of life by getting the hormones early. But a lot of people also don't have improvement to their quality of life. Not only that, but they have shitty bone health as a result. So I saw a video where a girl was like saying that, yeah, I wish I did it earlier because they had like a deeper voice because they didn't get the hormone therapy at an earlier age. But I suspect their physique, I suspect their muscles and bones are probably in a better state than they would have been if they got that hormone replacement therapy at an earlier age, because there's certain things that those hormones, that the natural hormones do, you know, in the development of a teenage body into an adulthood. But I'm not an expert. I'm not a doctor. Consult a doctor about this stuff, not me, right? So don't take my word for it at all, seriously, because I don't want to get in trouble. But also because I am speaking from a place of logic, but also of some level of ignorance at the same time. I'm not, you know, I didn't study this, you know, I didn't thoroughly look into this topic. Nothing to be sorry about, Wade, nothing at all. I'll check out his video too. Thanks for letting me know. Absolutely, it's good for a good cause. No, yeah, definitely. I agree, Real Wade Nation Gaming Clips. It is for a good cause. I appreciate you dropping the link, and I should probably drop the link a second time before the end of the stream. Didn't know of the guy, but we both knew what was up. Oh, here. I took my sister's dog to get put down. We had been taking care of her for years. I was the grown man crying in the lot behind a pickup with some other old guy. Yeah, dude, I mean, like, us men, I mean, everyone, we all love our dogs, but sometimes it hits us a certain way, you know? Like, before I wrap up, I'll tell you a story. But didn't know the other guy, but we both knew what was up. I could imagine, but yeah, so my mom told me a story once. And I remember I was telling a girl this story, and I started crying while telling the girl this story. But what happened was, my mom and dad had dogs back in like the 1980s, 70s to 80s when they moved into the neighborhood, named Penny and Baby. Right? So these two dogs are like, you know, are good friends. Oh, I mean, so what? You see some names there. So anyway, yeah, so my mom and dad, they walk the dogs, whatever. So one of the dogs dies, right? So my mom is walking the remaining dog, like that week, later that week, she's walking the remaining dog, you know, and the way that the neighborhood is set up, you got the street, you got homes on either side of the street, and you got sidewalks, right? And each house has a driveway on either side, usually two driveways, you know, on one driveway on either side of, you know, a house. Usually you got these semi-attached houses and things like that. And so run up the driveway and you got a gate that goes to a backyard. So my mom's walking a dog and his dog is running up every fucking driveway. Okay, the dog is running up every driveway, looking up the fence, sniffing around, looking for her friend. And I don't know, that just fucks me up. Like, it just, yeah, it fucks me up so bad to think about that for some reason. I mean, like, on one angle, it's kind of touching, but it shows that dogs, you know, have love and empathy. But I think we all have a soft spot for dogs. And I got sand in my eye now because of this candle. Yes, because of this candle. But yeah, that shit messes me up. I mean, it doesn't mess me up, but I mean, like, just giving you an example, like, I'm being pretty energetic and positive, and that shit still makes me sad, you know? And so, yeah, my turtles too, like, I see them as innocent, you know? They're good guys, like, good girls. I think the one on the right might be a guy, I'm not really sure. See, non-binary. But, you know, like, look at them, they're fucking innocent, they're chill. I mean, they kind of can be funny at times. They try to climb out. They knock shit over like toddlers. They'll beg for food even when the food is like, look, the food is in the tank in this video, and she's climbing up. I already put the food in the tank, and she's like, give me food. Give me food. It's like, dude, look behind you. Look behind you. It's here. Okay? But, you know, they're kind of stupid sometimes, the turtles, but I love them to death. And I wouldn't want any harm to come to them. And if you ever have to give CPR to a turtle, you pump their legs. And I need to fix the camera because I might have to, I want to make sure I can check on them. Because I always worry about the turtle flipping over and getting stuck in a position where they, you know, maybe could drown. But that can happen to turtles. Like, if they're in a shallow area of water. Behind Poffy, there's this, like, shallow area. And I seen her get flipped over in there. But luckily, the water's shallow enough she could flip over. But that could be a very dangerous situation for a turtle. But yeah, these are red-eared sliders. They look a lot like the painted turtles, but they're red-eared sliders. So Poffy that you see climbing, she has these orange like stripes on her ear that you can barely see right now. But there's orange stripes on her ears behind her eyes. And yeah, it's actually, she looks a bit like Michelangelo with that orange stripe. They call them red-eared sliders, but honestly, it looks more orange in real life. See, look, you can see it right there. Oh, she fell. They can't all be ninjas. That's a fair point. And that's okay, because I don't want to know. I don't want the turtle growing to the size of a Volkswagen Beetle. Okay? I'm pretty sure if a turtle, if they were big enough, they would try to eat me. And I don't think they would mean anything by it. I mean, maybe they would recognize my face and not eat me. But if they didn't recognize me, they'd probably take a bite out of me. Wise old turtle. Yeah, wise. Very wise. I think that's tortoises. Turtles a little bit different. Like sea turtles too, like they get chased by sharks, they'll go into an undersea cave, get lost, and end up, you know, running out of oxygen. And then that's why if you go to an undersea cave, you'll see bones sometimes from a dead turtle, a sea turtle. I just found out owls are kind of retarded too. Apparently they are only good at what they do, otherwise totally dumb. Huh. I learned that owls have ears that are offset vertically, and that this helps them, like, with locating things. Like, there's a whole bunch of videos about it too, but, like, we have, like, the shape of our earlobe helps us figure out what direction the sound is coming from. The angle, like, the offset of the ears also helps the owls figure stuff out. So, yeah, they're probably very good at hunting, very good at locating things. Their eyes are like binoculars, but, yeah, probably not bright in other areas. I mean, I've seen those videos of owls in a nest inside someone's attic, and there is something funny about them. One is kind of creepy. Baby owls without any of the feathers look like aliens. And I'm pretty sure some of these alien stories you hear are basically just owls. But I'm not 100% sure. Sounds like a strange burger, right? No, it does. Red-eared sliders do sound like some kind of strange burger there, James. I mean, like, it's like, yeah, I've had sliders before, yeah. So anyway, I better get my buttocks to bed. So let me just double check on my homeboy here. See if he's still streaming. So once again, here's Wade's tweet. Wade's tweet will give way to a link to Snowdub's tweet. If you guys want to, you know, maybe check out his PayPal page or something like that. This is my friend Pop Culture Republic. I'm gonna drop his link right now. Pop Culture Republic. You can I apologize for the caps. I just want to get myself to bed soon. Well, then bed. But yeah, he's a cool dude. I like his work, I really do. And he always reads my chats, so I mean that means a lot. I know it could take a lot, like, you know, to stop doing what you're doing and read people's chats. They can turn their heads like a girl, like the girl in The Exorcist. Am I doing it right? I was trying to do the Exorcist girl thing. Oh my god, I'm so happy you had so much to say about that. Well, I'm happy too. I'm happy that you said it. Yeah, I better go to bed. Yo, thanks. Feel free to think, and feel free to drop in, or feel free to not drop it. I mean, I don't want. I love when like someone's doing a stream, and someone goes, "Oh, hey, what's up, DJ Ronnie G? You haven't been here for a while." It's like, I don't know how to feel about that. But jokes aside, now you're always welcome, regardless of how often or infrequent you show up. You know, and everyone else who showed up tonight, of course. Thank you all, and you know, thank you anyone who came here because of Tron, to remember Tron. He fights for the user. I suspect that if there's a afterlife of some kind, he will continue to fight for the user. If he gets, hired as a guardian angel or something like that, he will fight for the user. Whatever form that takes, I'm sure he'll, do the right thing. And, if he's just floating around in space as energy, I just hope that he's a lot more mobile, that he's able to, see some wondrous things, or something, I mean, like, I don't really know how the afterlife works. But anyway, let's say, goodbye to Tron. Also, we got the link for Jolly's dog right there. Normally, I end this by saying, if you have any questions, comments, leave a comment. Of course, feel free to leave a comment if you have any comments or ideas. And yeah, for now, I think we're going to end transmission. And once again, I want to thank you all for tuning in and hanging out tonight. We're not going to play the Space Colony video tonight. Normally, I play a video of a Space Colony blowing up in the Mobile Suit Gundam seed. Yeah, we're not going to do that tonight. I think even though we want to be funny, I think we should be more reverent because, we'll save that for next week. We'll have fun with the Gundam crap next week. So yeah, anyway, thank you all. And thank you, Peter Venkman Fan Site. And when I find the correct button to end this stream, I will end it. And if you guys want to check out Pop Culture Republic, just, say hi. Say DJ Raid if you want. You don't have to. You can just say hi. You don't have to say DJ Raid. Oh my god, it looks so grainy right now with the lights off. But I'll tell you, turning off these lights, it helps with falling. Oh my god, 2 hours. I better go to bed. All right, once again, thank you for watching. Have a wonderful night. And